He's against Billy Gogol. He's playing white-black humans as we're in game number 3 here.
And Billy is a player that I recognize, I believe, from the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
So I've encountered him a few times.
So Zath the Necromancer is in play, and now Painter looks like it was just placed onto the stack. Ricky is resolving a Sphinx Revelation for 2. You also see a Jace Architect of Thought with 2 counters out there. Lands for each player, and we have got Ricky categorized here as Esper Control. Black cards that he is splashing. He's got 4 copies of Doomblade in the sideboard. He's got a Singleton Blood Baron hiding out there as well. And then he's got a Notion Thief, so maybe a story to tell later on in the day.
And the Black-White Humans deck, in my mind, in the post-board games against us like Esper, tries to essentially annoy the other player to death with some discard spells and some threats like Zephyr Necromancer that are challenging to answer or kind of muck up cards like Supreme Verdict a fair bit. Unfortunately, all these small creatures and that sort of plan match up very poorly against Jace, Architect of Thought, and Elspeth, and you see these in play for Ricky right now.
Speak of the devil, and it shall appear. Elspeth going to come into play, put 3 soldier tokens in the way. Gogol going to draw a card. It's a Plains. Looks like he might have a few too many lands, but he does have a copy of Glare of Heresy in his hand, it looks like, to be able to take care of Elspeth. And now Paints here is going to come into the red zone. You're going to see a bunch of blocks here to get that thing off the table, but a copy of God's Willing will keep the Paints here alive. They'll just take down 1 token. Of course, it's a 1-2 with the attack because of Jace's +1.
Yeah, and this attack is sort of a freebie for Billy as he's just trying to get the untap trigger from Painseer.
Glare of Heresy going to take down Elspeth. Important card to keep off of the table and just pass the turn back over to Sidher, who's going to untap those 6 lands. He'll take a draw. Syncopate was added to the grip. He's got a Jace that he is going to potentially tick down.
And this is sort of the structural problem that you have when you try to beat Esper Control by cards like Glare of Heresy and what have you. When you slow down your deck that much, then cards like Sphinx's Revelation and Jace just bury you. So my preferred way of addressing these matchups is just try to be as fast as possible, ignore Supreme Verdict for the most part, and try to beat all their other pieces.
You see Jace has turned over a Supreme Verdict along with another Jace and a Temple of Deceit. So decisions here for the Orzhov Humans player. Sidher also does have a very full grip right now as well, so looks like a tough spot here for Billy.
Yeah.
He's going to take the 2 cards maybe. Deciding, can't have all 3. He's going to put Jace to the bottom. He's going to take the Verdict and the Temple to his hand.
The article I almost wrote this week was very nearly about exactly this problem. This is a topic that's been on my head quite a bit, of decks that try to sideboard into these slower packages to fight Esper in post-board games, I think is a pretty commonly made mistake.
See how far and away here in Sidher's hand as well. That card's one of his other cards on the splash. Again, most of his black cards are just in the sideboard, which is what we see a lot of people doing nowadays. He does have 3 copies of Last Breath in his main. You've seen some players move towards Doomblade or Ultimate Price in the main deck. But, you know, all of this Black Splash is doing is facilitating, all the Black Splash is facilitating, is a better game against Stormbreath Dragon and Mistcutter Hydra for these decks.
Yeah, you get access to Ultimate Price, Doomblade. Far Away is excellent against a lot of these decks, so definitely a concession to those matchups.
Copy of Daring Skyjack. See, Last Breath's going to come down, take care of the Zephyr Necromancer. Last Breath looking extremely good in this particular matchup, as Billy just have 2 lands in his hand.
Oh, I think Last Breath is a card that's going to be on the resurgence, especially on the heels of a Red-White Burn win. We're playing Ash Zealot and Chandra's Phoenix.
Yeah.
Last Breath was on the decline a few weeks ago, but I think it's going to be back in force in these control decks.
And the fact that you can target your own stuff, Mutavault or an Elspeth Soldier token to gain some life.
Yeah, I've certainly lost to that play a few times myself.
You've lost to this one a couple of times too, right?
Yeah, well, the first rev is actually what killed Billy here, but the second one is the nail in the coffin.
So 5 cards added here to Sidher's hand, 5 life as well. He is certainly in the driver's seat this go around. You see, he's got a bunch of cards in his hand, and he's just trying to figure out the best way to get rid of them all, and then eventually close this one out. And he's got 6 mana. Looks like another copy of Elspeth, and that is going to do it. Billy says, no more, please, no more. Ricky Sidher is going to win this match. Move on to 2-0 here with Esper Control.
And I really like that concession from Billy.
I knew you would. There's a big smile on your face.
I know, there are some players that it is a hopeless situation. They just keep slogging along. Billy knows that he's dead there. He could stack his deck and lose from that spot. You know, like when you get to that level of hopelessness, then just move on to something else.
Back in my younger days in Ohio, we used to call that the dignity scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I've done it myself. I've done it too much.
Yeah, you're quick to concede.
I definitely had matches where I've conceded, looked at the top 2 cards, and thought, oh, I actually had him in 2 turns or something.
Sure.
So that's a little too fast, but that was definitely not one of those spots. Billy, like I said, he could have stacked his deck however he wanted to and would not have been able to win from there. So
You seem like the kind of guy when you're playing Magic online,